Hey everyone, this is Disc Junkie and welcome back to Secondhand Sickness. So, back at the car boot sale, and the place looks pretty packed as you can see. Weather is optimal. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Let's just hit the tables. Right, so I'm back at the table and it's high time that we check out the finds of the day. Now I have to say that my car boot sale finds were really limited today. I essentially only found 2 items, but I'm gonna show you some bonus stuff that I've been able to find online recently, and with that we might get a fairly interesting bundle to look at. Now, first up, I wanted to show you one of the finds from the car boot sale, and this is actually a find that's not really for me. But I saw this thing, which is essentially a vintage-looking puzzle box, a premium jigsaw puzzle. Now, this is not vintage. It was essentially released in 2023. It's from a company which is called Penguin Magic Inc. I haven't really looked this up, but I saw this, thought that the box looks, kind of cool, kind of vintage, and I just generally like the design, there's little devils on it. And I noticed, obviously, that there is a poster or an image which features someone known as Thurston, world famous magician. And my friend Stefan is actually a magician. This is like his line of work. And so whenever I see oddities relating to magicians or sorcery or whatever, that sort of category, I tend to check in with him. It's something that's, interesting. And he was actually interested in this. A lot of the time he won't really take an interest in magic stuff, because I guess he has a lot of that stuff, and generally it's not a sort of genre or subcategory which tends to have collectible items in it, at least not as far as car boot sales go. And this is probably not collectible, but he really liked it because this is kind of a super classic image apparently. And so he asked me to pick this up. This was only 40 Swedish crowns, which is essentially €4. And from the looks of it, it's never even been put together. It's not sealed. There's a plastic box which has been opened, but I'm gonna assume that this is, actually contains all the pieces, and it even has a small poster in it. So I thought that was really nice, seeing as he really sort of wanted to get this based on the poster. So I haven't been able to look this up, but I'm sure you can find this on eBay or whatever. I doubt this is very collectible, but I thought the box looked really cool, and he is also very much a packaging nerd like myself when it comes to box sets and limited editions, so I figured this might actually be something that he would enjoy. So yeah, he gladly paid 40 Swedish crowns for this, and I had no problem paying that on his behalf. But that was only the first find, so aside from this, I didn't really find much at the car boot sale today, like I mentioned. I only essentially find one more item, but this was kind of an interesting item. And it is a really heavy book from Eric Stanton. Now, if you don't know Eric Stanton, he is a very sort of infamous illustrator who essentially does a lot of stuff like this. You can see this essentially says Eric Stanton, and it says The Dominant Wives and Other Stories. So yeah, you can already probably guess that this is like a erotic subgenre. So these are quite explicit, but they are obviously illustrations. So I'm not going to flip through the whole thing because this is quite a thick book, but just to give you some examples of the kind of sort of drawing style that he has, some of the typical illustrations. So a lot of sort of bondage inspired stuff, for essentially just sodomizing and, yeah, pretty much what it says on the cover, dominant wives. So yeah, this is sort of the style he's become known for. And I would say generally, if you see any books by Eric Stanton or magazines, whatever, I would say that you should probably think about picking them up, because, I mean, just from my experience collecting erotica, whenever I find stuff by Eric Stanton and I post pictures of it, people are like, is that for sale? And I'm like, no, I'm probably gonna keep it. So I just saw this, did a quick eBay search on it, and realized that this book was from Taschen, and they release quite awesome books usually. And at first glance, I wouldn't really think that this was a collectible release, but they've released a couple of different stuff in this style, and the seller essentially had a few, and some of them were for like girly mags of the 50s or whatever. And I just didn't think they were that interesting, because they're not really vintage books. They're very sort of modern day books. But when I saw the Eric Stanton one, I knew that I had to Google that shit. And so I checked on eBay. These generally go for something like $80 US, between 60 or 80 US, and that's like secondhand. So this is in fairly good shape. It does have like a line on the spine here, but I don't really care about that, because the seller essentially wanted €5 for this book. So yeah, I mean, that is a brick of a book, and it's an absolute must-have if you're, you know, looking at the price he wanted. Like, that's a deal you're not going to pass up on. So I thought it was a really cool pickup. I don't own too much by Eric Stanton, but I've always thought he was a very sort of fascinating illustrator to collect, so I always try to pick up stuff by him if I see it, which is really uncommon. Now, aside from that, I thought we would look at a couple more things which are sort of in the erotic category as well, but these are a couple of Swedish books which I found through various online stores like Swedish eBay, and just generally like some online shops for books. And this first one, which is called Try and Take Me Now, is part of the Kurt Håsson or the Fickis series. You know that I generally collect books by the distributor known as Kurt Håsson, who was sort of like the porn king of Sweden in the 80s. He released so much erotica, and this was one of those books which I didn't own, so found this on Swedish eBay. Forget what I paid, but I'm thinking something like 15-20 euro thereabouts, but I was really happy to find this because it's one of those titles which has eluded me for quite a few years, so that was a very nice pickup. And then I also found this, which I found online, but I actually got help to ship this from a friend in Finland. So big shout out to Jani, who helped me with this one. This is also one of those rare titles which I hadn't really seen before, and it's always really difficult because this particular sort of Ficky series, I'm actually working on like a digital archive of this just to sort of document the covers, and it's just so hard to find information about like what books are available in the series, because a lot of this is not even like, there's no spine number, there's no sort of cataloging of where does this go in the release history. And a lot of the time these will be photo illustrated, but I don't think these two are. These are essentially just erotic novels. But either way, I just love the cover design on these. They are so sort of bright and colorful and awesome looking. And I have roughly like, I don't know, close to 100 books from this particular series. And I think I'm nearing completion, but there's a couple of books which I probably don't know about and I just don't own because it's really, really hard to find info. But so these were two awesome pickups. I forget what I paid for this, but I think it landed like with the shipping and import, probably something like 20 euro, which is a bit more than I usually pay for these books. But if they're rare and I haven't seen them before, it's definitely worth it because I really want to complete this collection. And so that is most of the stuff, but I thought I would mention one more thing, which was also a really odd online find. And it is this very vintage and very tiny little photo frame, which I'm not really sure if you're going to pick up on this, because I don't think the lighting is the best. But it's essentially one of these sort of trick images, which I'm not sure if we can even focus on this because it's quite dark. But if I move this little frame, you'll see that this woman in the image is essentially sort of blinking. But it's a very odd image because I think she sort of looks more like a zombie than she does like someone who's flirting. It's just a really weird image. Like you can sort of see like this ripple effect going through her eyes. And like I said, I don't even know if you're picking up on this. Maybe it's too dark. But either way, a very sort of odd picture. I have no idea about the history. It's got no markings on it. And I just stumbled on this on Swedish eBay. I paid like 10 euro plus shipping, so maybe 15 euro on total. Not sure if it's worth that, but I just thought it was a very sort of curious thing. And he sort of sold it like a erotica piece because he said that this woman was like flirting, like he's winking her eyes. But I mean, me looking at this, I don't know, I think she looks absolutely insane, more like a zombie than any kind of flirtatious woman I would be interested in. But that's just me, and it might just be a bad photo, I don't know. But yeah, this is essentially all the stuff I got today, or all the stuff I wanted to show today. I didn't actually pick them up today. But yeah, this is essentially it. I can't really fit everything in frame, so I'm gonna have to stack things up a bit because it's just a bit too little space. So yeah, that's it. I don't know what else to say. Big shout out to Yanni once more. Very thank you for helping me get this book. It was definitely a great addition to my Kurt Hausson collection. But that's it. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and as usual, hope to see you all next time.